Today, we're diving into the 2025 UDFA tracker. Now, for those who aren't familiar with UDFAs, these are the players that didn't get drafted but were still picked up by teams after the draft. The Raiders, like every year, were able to sign 15 of these undrafted players. We've got 14 of those names right here, along with a few special invitees to camp. Now, I know the draft is always exciting, but if you really want to know what the Raiders are up to, you got to follow the UDFA signings. But hey, if you're not subscribed yet, are we even a family? Hit that subscribe button because we've got some good stuff ahead. Let's kick things off with John Joyner, the edge rusher from Minnesota. This guy, he's a beast. Let me give you the breakdown. I honestly think Joyner was the best UDFA signing for the Raiders this year. We had him graded around the 5th or 6th round, and he has all the tools you want. He's got the size, the length, and he's a ball hawk. He grabbed 7 pass breakups this past season. His tackling's pretty solid, though he can improve a bit there. One thing that does raise a flag for me is his missed tackles. But hey, that's something that can be worked on. His RA score of 6.88 is solid, and he's got a motor that just doesn't quit. He's one of those guys who will give it everything he's got every play. He's got the speed, the edge-setting ability, and while he could get a little stronger, he's a project that's definitely worth watching. If you ask me, I think Joyner has the best shot of all the UDFAs to crack the 53-man roster this year. Now let's move on to Matt Jones, a linebacker from Baylor. Jones is one of those guys who's a bit of a diamond in the rough. He played for 6 years at Baylor, and over the course of his career, he played in 62 games, which is a ton of experience. Last season alone, he racked up 113 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 4 sacks. Not bad, right? For his entire college career, he finished with 199 tackles and 12 sacks. Jones may not be the most athletic guy on paper, but what he lacks in speed, he makes up for in experience. He's played against some of the best competition out there, and that could be huge for the Raiders as they build their defense. We've got him graded as a UDFA, which means he'll need to prove himself, but if he can bring that high-level football IQ and consistency, he's a name to watch. Now, let's talk about Matt Jones for a second. This is the kind of player who might not be the flashiest, but you can count on him to go out there and compete at a high level. He might not check every box when it comes to athletic ability, but what he does bring is pure heart and grit. This guy plays with fire, and you can't teach that kind of competitive spirit. Next up, we've got Parker Clemens, an offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. Now, listen, I don't know what's going on with his facial hair, but there's something about it that makes me think, one day I might grow the courage to rock that look too. He's got this wild, untamed style that just adds to his character. And at 6 feet 6 inches, 295 pounds, he definitely brings the size to match. Let's talk about his game. Clemens has been around the block, playing over 800 snaps last season alone for the Hokies. People say his best year was 2021, but this guy's consistency is what really stands out. He might not have the flashiest PFF grade, 60.9, but he's a player who will show up when it matters most. He's the kind of guy you want fighting in your corner. Now let's hear from you. Who's your favorite UDFA signing by the Raiders so far? Drop your answer in the comments below. And hey, while we're at it, check out the thumbnail for this video. It's got 2 of the top players I'm most excited about. You'll see what I mean soon enough. But before you get to the comments, here comes a YouTube ad. Take a quick scroll and then let me know what you think. Next player on the list, Trevan May, a defensive tackle from Baylor. And, yeah, I hope I'm saying that name right. Trevan's a guy who really caught my attention with his impressive 9.47 RAS, relative athletic score. That's a great number. At 6 feet 3 inches, 277 pounds, he's got the size to be a real force. Last season, he had 42 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks. Not bad for a guy who's more of a tweener between defensive tackle and edge rusher. The Raiders seem to have a thing for these types of prospects, players who can be molded into multiple roles, which gives them some versatility on the line. I'm curious to see how May develops. Let's move on to John Humphrey, a cornerback from USC. Now, ties matter in the NFL, and this guy's got some strong connections with the Raiders organization. Originally from UCLA, Humphrey's familiar with some of the coaching staff. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches and weighing 193 pounds, he's got the physicality to be a boundary corner. In his college career, he posted 3 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. Last season, his stats were solid with 23 tackles, 1 interception, and 4 PBUs. Humphrey's got some serious upside, and his ties to the Raiders might just help him land a spot. Finally, let's talk about Haj Malik Williams, a quarterback the Raiders picked up as a UDFA. This guy has been through a lot. Last year, UNLV was in a mess of a situation, starting the season 3-0, but then hitting some major bumps. Despite that, Williams stood strong. A 6-year senior with leadership experience, he threw 19 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions. He's got the character and athleticism the Raiders need in a backup QB. And maybe, just maybe, a change in position could be in his future. Williams is one to keep an eye on, and you never know where he could fit into the Raiders' plans. Let's talk about Haj Malik Williams for a moment. Now, I'm not entirely sure how things are going to unfold for him, but I like the idea of the Raiders bringing in some athletic quarterbacks. They've been doing this in both the draft and UDFAs, adding players who have the potential to make an impact in different ways. It's always exciting to see how these guys fit into the Raiders' plans. Now let's get back to it. Next up, we've got Grady Vance, a cornerback from USC. Vance is a bit on the smaller side at 5'10 and 180 pounds, but don't let that fool you. This guy can play. He transferred to USC from Louisville and Florida State, and he's another New Orleans native, just like Raiders draft pick Jack Besh. Vance stepped in right away and contributed, playing 11 games and starting 6. His stats? 29 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 PBUs. He's definitely someone to keep an eye on, especially as a nickel corner for practice reps. Next up is Sean Dulac, a linebacker from Buffalo. Let me tell you, this guy is a football player. 168 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, and 6.5 sacks. If you want to watch some serious highlight reels, go check out Dulac's tape. He started as a walk-on and turned himself into an All-American in just 5 years. This is a guy who knows how to find the football, and he's smart and scrappy. He's also a core special teams player, which is huge for UDFAs. He may not have the ideal size or athletic ability, but he competes harder than most. If you're looking for someone who can outwork the competition, it's Dulac. Let's talk about Melo Dodson, the cornerback from Kansas. He's one of the most notable names the Raiders were able to sign, alongside Jyner. Dodson was graded as a 7th-round pick by us, so we definitely thought he'd be drafted. Over the last 2 seasons, he had 12 interceptions, 9 of which were in the past 2 years, and a lot of PBUs. He's got great instincts, smooth transitions, and decent size. Dodson even set a Kansas record with 4 career pick sixes. However, there are some concerns. His RA score is 5.83, so he's not the most athletic. He also has a high missed tackle rate, which is around 19%. While he does have some agility and speed concerns, I still think Melo Dodson could be a sneaky corner to watch out for, especially during the spring and preseason games. Next up, we've got Jared Hufford, a guard from Iowa State. This guy is a big one, 6 feet 4 inches and 322 pounds. He's a 2-time honorable mention for the Big 12 and played 14 games last season, allowing only 1 sack. His overall PFF grade was 65.2. Hufford has versatility, which is huge for the Raiders' offensive line. Over his career, he started games at left guard, 21 games, center, 14 games, left tackle, 9 games, and right guard, 3 games. That's some serious versatility, and the Raiders really value that in their offensive line. Next is Carter Runan, a tight end from Towson. Some might view him as a big wide receiver or a small tight end, but at 6 feet 4 inches and 243 pounds, he's a solid target. Last season, he had 45 catches for 502 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's got a good wingspan, great hand size, and nice takeoff speed. Runan is also able to make tough catches at the high point, and he has good acceleration when blocking, especially as a move blocker. Let's talk about Hudson Clark, the safety from Arkansas. One thing that's been pretty common with Pete Carroll and his team is the focus on captains, and Hudson Clark is no exception. He's a captain from Dallas, Texas, and we're hoping to get him on the show soon. Last season, he made 37 tackles, 1 interception, and 6 PBUs. He's also known for his great special teams play. Clark is versatile, having played strong safety, 485 snaps, free safety, 365 snaps, nickel corner, 507 snaps, and a lot of snaps at corner, 1,482 total. His RA score is 7.75, which is solid, but if he wants to make the roster, he really needs to impress on special teams. Next up, Pat Conroy, a tight end who's also been used as a fullback. The Raiders might be using him in a lot of different ways. Think of Alec Ingold, who has that unique athletic ability, and Pat Conroy is similar. Last season, he had 37 catches for 523 yards and 5 touchdowns. But here's the kicker. His RA score is an incredible 9.98. He's an amazing athlete and is mainly known for his blocking as a tight end. The Raiders are playing a brand of FU football, and I wonder if Pat Conroy will be able to help out with that. Now, let's talk about the final player I have for the Raiders' UDFA signings. Technically, they could still sign 2 more players, but it seems like SpyTech had 15 in mind. Tom has ranked him, and when Tom ranks a player, it means he's higher on our board. We have him as a potential 7th-round UDFA. Jalen Walker, linebacker from Indiana, is someone to keep an eye on. He's a safety linebacker prospect with a 7.81 RA score and a 4.44 40-yard dash. Over his career, he recorded 206 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 5 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 17 PBUS, and 6 forced fumbles in 33 games. He allowed a 68.2 QBR in coverage and only gave up 2 touchdowns. To me, Walker is a really intriguing player, and I'm sure Chip Kelly took note of him last year. Now, I want you to grade the Raiders' UDFAs. Get those red pens out and grade them A, B, C, D, or F. For me, I'm giving them a solid B grade. There were a couple of players who could have been drafted, but overall, the Raiders brought in a lot of high-character guys who will fight to live their dream, and that's all you can ask for from UDFAs. Before I wrap up, let's talk about some Raiders camp invites. These might not be the full list, but I've confirmed 5. Cammy Golf, safety from Air Force, maybe some Trey Taylor connections there. Bless Harris, 6 feet 5 inches, 326 pounds, offensive lineman from TCU. With a name like Bless, I'm hoping he makes the squad. Josh Carlin, 6 feet 5 inches, 310 pounds, offensive lineman from UCLA with coaching ties to Chip Kelly. He had a 59.9 PFF grade. Tom Callahan, a 6'3", 235-pound long snapper. Interesting because our current long snapper, Jacob Bob and Moyer, is in the final year of his contract. Callahan could be a cheaper option. Kalen Griffin, a running back from Liberty with 1,158 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's a tough physical runner, similar to Sincere McCormick. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.